I just want to talk a little bit about where this could potentially go, this Mark Williams fiasco, if you want to call it. Let's talk a little bit about where this can go. And then from there, I want to talk about Dalton Knecht, because Knecht's going to have to regroup in his own head. Listen to this. Rather than me try to explain it, I'm just going to have you guys take a quick listen to this. This is Dave McMenamin talking about some kind of a mock trial that the Lakers, and the Hornets might have to be on if the NBA jumps in. Just take a listen here.
Team's interpretation of a medical chart jibe with the league office, right? Like, I don't know how do you rectify something like that? What do you do? Right.
But my understanding, this will be almost like a mock trial that the NBA will put on, and both teams will present their cases. There's not much precedent for this. Back in the late 80s, the Portland Trailblazers and the Cleveland Cavaliers had a similar situation. Ultimately, David Stern was the one with the gavel, and he determined that the Blazers, I should say, they were unsatisfied with the player they received. And David Stern said, who are we to say as a league to go against what their doctor's recommendation is? And so, the precedent would be on the Lakers side to have this rescinded trade stand. But that is the process that the Hornets are currently undergoing. And we'll have Adam Silver in that chair this time rather than David Stern.
Catch the Rich Eisen.
All right. That was on the Rich Eisen show. FYI there. Okay. Let me tell you two things that just kind of come to mind from what that was. Okay. A mock trial. Let me be very clear here. One man's opinion. We'll roll from there. They're not going to make that trade go through. That trade's not happening. There's not going to be a mock trial. I don't know how much further along that this can actually happen. There's not going to be a mock trial that all of a sudden the Mark Williams, Dalton Knecht, 2031, pick swap in 2030, Cam Reddish is back on. It's done. It's not happening. I don't see a world if the Lakers are allowed to have a physical with their own team physicians to determine whether a player who has missed 60% of the games in his career so far in the NBA, if they determine there's some things we're not comfortable with here, then they can do one of two things because of the timing of when that trade happened. We talked a little bit about this when I put the video out on Saturday, that Lakers did not have time to say, listen, we're worried about this, this, and this. We're not throwing the 2031 pick. You still want to do it? We'll do it, but we're keeping the 2031 pick. They didn't have time to go back and try to renegotiate. So they only had two options. Put the trade through or say we're not having the trade happen. That's what they did. They rescinded the trade. You're going to have the NBA jump in. I don't know what Charlotte's goal is here. I don't know if it's Charlotte's goal to say, Lakers, you got cold feet and decided last second you don't want to do this deal. But to be honest with you, I don't really understand that methodology. Lakers, they wanted Mark Williams. They clearly wanted a center. And they were willing to mortgage some of their future, whether you think it's the right move or it's not the right move. They were willing to mortgage their future in order to get what they were looking for. I don't think the Lakers would wait till the last second on Saturday. I mean, Rob Pelinka had already talked about Mark Williams. He did that, I think, late Thursday about bringing him in. JJ Redick had, like, they were so down the road. They're clearly trying to accommodate to Luka Doncic early on in his, career with the Lakers. I don't think the Lakers were trying to pull a fast one. I really don't. Now, listen, maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe Rob Pelinka did decide, but how is the NBA going to determine, again, it's a player that we're talking about that's missed 60% of his time in the league. We're not talking about a guy that's never had an injury. We're not talking about a guy that's been completely healthy in the NBA. We're talking about Mark Williams. He's played 85 of 200 and something games. Already missed a handful of games this year to start off the season. So I don't know how the NBA is going to be proving, or the Charlotte Hornets are going to be proving, that the Lakers pulled a fast one. I don't know. Maybe Charlotte's trying to save face. Maybe they know they got this 23-year-old who just got traded, and now they got to bring him back. maybe they know as well that if the Lakers are saying, no, we don't want this 23-year-old, well, how are they going to make a trade with another team where that team's medical staff is going to feel comfortable with making a move with the Charlotte Hornets? Maybe that's what it's all about. But either way, I don't see anything, being changed anytime soon. I don't. All right, let's get a couple of these in here. And then we're going to talk Dalton Connect. I got to talk Dalton Connect here. I'm feeling for my guy, Dalton Connect. All right, let's get a couple of these here. Thank you very much for the super, brother. I appreciate you very much. Cheers to you on this fine Wednesday morning, February 12th. So do you care to speculate what Lakers actually found wrong with Williams? It wasn't the back. Not a James fan, but give him cred, being a pro. Yeah, I don't know. I would be just making an assumption. But I think they clearly found something. Like I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. I think in Rob Pelinka's eyes today, if you told Rob Pelinka today, you can have Mark Williams, a healthy Mark Williams, and you could take your chances in the playoffs, and Jackson Hayes is coming off the bench, and now you're accommodating Luka what he needs, and you genuinely believe I got a good 23-year-old big that we can work with here, that Luka's going to get him good looks, that he's got a lot of upside, LeBron's going to get him good looks, or you could rescind the trade. I think Rob Pelinka would rather have a healthy Mark Williams. Personal opinion, right? They clearly found something wrong. Clearly. Something didn't jive. Something didn't work the way they wanted it to. Now, I've also made the case I think they're better off waiting until the summer. And I never really thought the Lakers were a true championship contender this year. Okay, maybe they proved me wrong. You heard Greeny talking about they got the second best odds according to, some of these, I don't know if it was ESPN Bet or I don't know what it was, but that they have really good odds to potentially come out of the Western Conference. But we also haven't seen them play any games with Luka yet. They played one game against the Utah Jazz. So what are we all determining that? How are we determining that? Even though I think they're better off without Mark Williams because of the injury history, go wait until the summer. You got your 2031. You get that pick swap back. Dalton Connect is still an asset on this team. You got a lot of expiring contracts this summer. Maybe you can make a bigger deal than just what you were thinking of with Mark Williams. But I don't think that he's pulling out of that deal because he got cold feet. I think he's pulling out of that deal because something went on in that physical where they're saying to themselves, we're concerned about this. Short-term, long-term, whatever the case is. Maybe they're more concerned long-term. Maybe it's, well, if we're going to trade for Mark Williams, let's sign him to an extension. Let's make sure he's a Laker for 3, 5, 6 years, whatever the case is. And maybe that's the piece that they're concerned about. Thank you for the super, brother. I appreciate it. Let's get another one in here. By the way, Ask Lee at the end of the show. Throw some Ask Lees in there, like this, like from Xavier. I'll get to that in a little bit. But any questions that you got, preferably non-sports related, that we can get into, Ask Lee coming up at the end of the show. So we'll do that a little bit later. Mitch, thank you very much for the super here, brother. I appreciate you very much. All right, let's get another one here. Mitch says, to clarify, Williams trade per Rachel Nichols. No current recourse for Hornets with current CBA. It'd be to change rules in the offseason. Teams can fail physicals at their discretion. That's kind of my point, Mitch. My point is that how is someone going to argue the Lakers medical staff of a player that's already been injured? See what I'm saying? Let me give you an example. Let's say the Lakers traded, let's say Dorian Finney-Smith, D'Angelo Russell. Let's say Dorian Finney-Smith wasn't injured, doesn't have an injury history. And the Lakers last second got cold feet and said, nope, we're rescinding the deal. I think it'd be a little bit more suspicious. I don't see anything suspicious in this one. I think it's fair to have the concerns Lakers do based on what we were talking about. Mitch, thank you very much for the super. And Mitch, thank you for being a member as well, YouTube member here. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate you. Northborough AES, another member here. Braun, 27, 7, and 7. 50, 35, 73, 3.5 turnovers. Luka, 28, 8, and 8. Let's see right here. Luka, 35% last year, 35% this year. Braun, 41% on threes last year, 31. I think the comp you're trying to make here is Luka's the next Braun in regards to those full stat lines. Yeah, that was his guy growing up. I'll tell you my favorite player growing up. And I only got to see him towards the end of my career. But it's actually one of the reasons why stylistically I loved watching Braun during his career. My favorite player was Magic. I love that Magic. He can get 30 a game if he wanted to, but it was more effective for him to get 25, 8, and 8. I love that style of basketball. I thought LeBron was the closest thing we've had to Magic Johnson. He just happened to be also, kind of this hybrid of all these other players as well. I love Luka's style of I could drop 35, 40, 50 on you in a night, but I can also get 9 and 9 as well. So appreciate it, Northborough. Thank you for the super brother. I appreciate that. Let's get another one in here, people. Look how generous people are here. Thank you, Brian. Really appreciate that. We're going old school here. Dino Rada trade was rescinded and then went to arbitration in 97. Celtics dropped the claim. Rada had no cartilage in his knee, never played again. You know what I think is probably making this incredibly difficult for Charlotte? Their asset's only 23 years old. Mark Williams is only 23. How are you going to make another trade for Mark Williams? By the way, Mark Williams has also been playing. It's not like Mark Williams isn't playing. Let me give you Mark Williams' stats this year. By the way, a lot longer on Mark Williams than I thought we were going to go, but kind of an interesting topic. All right, let's see Mark Williams' stats. $15.5 points a game, 9.5 rebounds a game. I think he's out today because of personal reasons, probably because this entire fiasco. It's not like the guy's not playing, and it's not like the guy's not putting out numbers. He's putting up numbers. So that's probably another frustration coming from Charlotte's case. Brian, thank you for the super. Northborough, thank you for the super. Mitch, I appreciate it very much. Good, serious TP, thank you very much. I appreciate all the supers here. Let me get some more lives in here as well. That's not supers, but are here just doing their thing. All right, let's see what we got here. Some people not crazy about the trading Max Christie. Connect is gone, or Connect is going to get his chance to sign, so let's hope he balls out. Connect's coming next. Probably shows part of the reason Charlotte is so upset. Not only did they not get the trade, their asset Williams is degraded in value. No question about that. Dalton wants to stay in Charlotte and get playing time. Could be right about that. All right, if you enjoyed this clip and you want more, just subscribe to the channel. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. is the Sliwa Show. And then after every Lakers game, post-game show right here.